today, I'm not here for my son, but the tens of thousands of athletes across the state of Michigan who now find them in the same position. Michigan student athletes have become the targets of political games. The governor's office and the Michigan Health Department claim that they are following the science and looking at the numbers, and that is why the only thing in the entire state, basically, that is not allowed to open are these high school sports. So that must mean that these athletes are considered to be the only danger left in the state of Michigan. And since Michigan is one of the only states continuing with this type of restriction, I guess you could say that that means that these Michigan high school athletes are the only ones left in the entire country that are a danger to the rest of society. But if we're following the science, how in the world is this possible? Michigan Department of Health and Human Services has their own science that they collected from our athletes this past fall. The science is indisputable. Our fall athletes were able to compete 95 to 98% of their competitions because their positive test rate was so low. We then went on to be a part of the pilot program from the health department, where they performed over 30,000 tests on our athletes. This was a 99.8% negative test rate. So where is the science? We're asking the state of Michigan, where's your science? Because we have our science. The science the governor keeps sharing is from back in November, and the rates that she keeps talking about are from sports in general. She never speaks about our new science, and she never speaks about high school sports as a specific. This is a direct slap in the face to these athletes and coaches who have put so much effort into following every single one of her rules to a T. Stand here, don't touch that, don't breathe on one another, don't talk to one another, don't spend the night with one another, don't go on vacation, don't hang out with your friends on the weekends, don't go over to your family's house for holidays, don't hug your grandparents. And the final rule that they abided by, which is one of the most ridiculous and, in my opinion, disgusting things that we have ever done to the youth in this state, is we have forced them to put a barrier over their nose and mouth while performing high-level intensity sports. How any lawmaker in the state can allow this is mind-blowing to me. We are the only state in the entire country that imposes that abuse on the youth that we are supposed to be taking care of. But they did it. They did it with the hopes of being able to have one thing given back to them throughout this horrible year that they have been dealt. But no, none of this was good enough. What else can these kids possibly do? I'll tell you what's happening. These kids are losing faith in government. It's a sad state that we are in when an entire generation of kids who will soon be of voting age have lost all faith in their voices being heard by their elected officials. I get messages on a daily basis from students reaching out, begging me for help. I got a message from a mom the other day saying she was currently holding her 6'2" son on her lap as he was crying over exhaustion from the emotional roller coaster that we are putting these kids through. I have many kids message me saying, Ms. McElvaney, is there anything you can do to help us? Because I don't think I can deal with this much longer. The mental health of Michigan's children are at an all-time low, and it's being ignored. Children all over this country are committing suicide at an alarming rate, and it's being ignored. I understand that we are dealing with a terrible situation when it comes to this virus. But what should be happening is that the state of Michigan and the health department should be asking these high school athletes and their coaches for help. They should be going to them to find out how to deal with this virus, because it seems like the athletes have figured something out that the rest of us haven't. They have figured out how to produce a 99.8 negative test rate. They have figured out how to continually test at a lower rate than the general population and the general population of other teenagers. But what are they getting out of it? Punishment. Punishment with zero explanation, zero science to back up their punishment, zero concern for their well-being. We have no other option in the state of Michigan than to get these kids back into schools and back into sports. Their mental health literally depends on it. Thank you.